Well, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get ourselves started here. We want to start with updating you guys on our severe risk today, but also for the upcoming next couple of days. We have a couple of risks back to back here we'll be talking about, and we do have some more data and information to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So, first and foremost, we do have a severe risk today for central and eastern parts of Ohio. We're not overly concerned for this, just be more so of a damaging wind risk with any storms that can pop up. Microburst, downburst type of thing. So heavy rain, some small hail possible, but damaging winds, your only threat today if you live within this dark green zone here in eastern central-ish Ohio. Okay. Moving on here, we do have a severe risk in place from the SPC for our Tuesday time frame here. It's a level 2 out of 5, so 5 being the worst, 1 being the least. We have a level 2 risk here in yellow, and then in dark green, once again, a level 1 risk here, surrounding it back towards Illinois, South Michigan, Eastern Ohio. Okay, so your highest risk right now is going to be centered pretty much over the west central ish Ohio and most all of Indiana, unless you're by the Gary South Bend areas. At that point, you're at a lower risk, but still you're close to that highest risk. So still, basically, the entire state of Indiana would have to be considered in that risk, so to speak. So, what are we concerned about for Tuesday? So, the big question with Tuesday is going to come from Monday, which is confusing, but let me explain here. Okay. So, when we forecast severe weather, look at a few different things here to try and get a picture for what's going to happen. So, we're looking at a forecast model here which shows potential radar for the future. All right. If we move this forward into the Monday night time frame, which is right about here, notice how out to west here, Iowa, Missouri, out in the plains, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, there's a line of storms here that's pushing into our region here. Okay, this is at 8 p.m. our time tomorrow evening. So this is going to continue to push eastward here. All right. Keep in mind, this is going to reach us by roughly 8 a.m. Tuesday morning. So what that rain, if that lingers, if this is actually a legit model run, it's going to actually happen. If we have rain here in the morning hours of Tuesday, that's going to be two concerns into our forecast for the atmosphere and overturn it, meaning that it won't allow instability to build for storms later on in the day. And also, at the watch, the same thing goes hand in hand here with cloud cover. If there are problems with your mic, what's the problem with my mic? I can switch this over. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. There we go. That should be better now. Can you guys hear me okay now? Okay, cool. So backing this up, I'm not sure where exactly it cut off there, but watching out here to our west on Monday evening for this line of storms out in the plains, it's going to push our direction into our region. It should reach us by Tuesday morning. Okay. So if this happens, if this model is correct in modeling this line of storms pushing into the area, that's going to cause two things here, two concerns. One, how much instability is that going to overturn for later? We need storm fuel, and this line could potentially take that fuel away or lessen that fuel for the severe threat later on in the evening. Number two, how much cloud covers are going to be around this? Cloud cover can sometimes work against severe threats. So we're going to be watching how this plays out on the day on Tuesday to get a feel for what's going to happen back for Monday evening, for what's going to happen on Tuesday morning here in the Tuesday afternoon. If we can clear out behind this line and destabilize the atmosphere, at that point, we're going to be concerned for a severe threat here. But if that line does take our storm fuel away and keeps everything cloud cover, the severe risk will go down significantly. All right. It's a couple scenarios here that could happen. We're not going to know until we get into the day of. So it's just something we're watching at this point. But looking at this particular model here, when this pushes through at 2 p.m. here, this is at 2 p.m., we're going to notice two things here. The farthest southern part of this line toward the Ohio River Valley could be severe at this point. Okay. Don't think it's going to happen, but it could be severe. But that's going to move out here. But notice how nothing else really develops behind this. This is 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. And we are completely clear in our region here, except for some rain showers up here in Michigan, isolated in Wisconsin, maybe some scattered there in Ohio. Overall, we're dry. This model is saying that we're going to have that line go through in the morning and we're going to be dry up until 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. So that's just one solution. We'll have many more solutions coming in. This is just the first model we're going to be getting here to get a forecast feel. We're going to have a lot more coming out today. We'll have a better idea from now until tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll have a much better feel for what's going to happen here. But right now, it's more so looking like the instability may not develop as strong as what we've been looking at over the past couple of days. And overlapping wind shear here with the storm fuel, we're seeing here on Monday, we see that line push our way here. And notice how there's really nothing here to work with unless you're basically in South Illinois, South Indiana areas, which those could be severe that morning. But overall, further north here, we really don't have anything really redeveloping here of significance. This is all pretty just general, you know, one or two on the composite here. We want to see closer to 4, 5, 6 to get, more of a concern. So this is showing us that the threat may not be as high as expected, but still that potential is there that these storms do clear out in time or they don't even form at all. We'll stay clear Tuesday. We build instability. Boom, we have a severe threat. Okay. Both scenarios can happen. We'll be watching this closely. Severe risk here still in place there for Tuesday. And that's general areas here, most Indiana, west central Ohio, and then a lower risk around to east Ohio, south Michigan, and most of Illinois there. Secondary risk comes on Wednesday. We do have, once again here, a day 4 risk. So we're not going to have that marginal or general thunder surrounding it. So we're going to likely have a little bit of a similar look here between Tuesday and Wednesday. But Wednesday could be a day to watch, especially if Tuesday doesn't develop as thought, so to speak. If we can stay mostly dry Tuesday evening, we may be talking a bigger concern here developing on Wednesday, because once again, we have a system moving through. It's going to overlap that wind shear instability quite well. So if we don't have morning rain, that could really amp things up here. Looking at overall modeled instability with wind shear, looking at that for Wednesday, general same areas here. But we are noticing number one being that this is going to be a threat that may be a little bit higher of concern. Here's Tuesday, according to the GFS model still. Here's Wednesday. We have those brighter colors off here to our west here. So when you have those brighter colors, basically just means a better overlap of wind shear instability. So Wednesday's the day to watch here as well. We don't want to forget that. But again, how Tuesday plays out is going to affect how Wednesday plays out. And we're not entirely sure how Tuesday plays out. So it just adds a lot of complications to the forecast. Regardless, though, the atmosphere may become conducive to severe weather for both days. Okay. Main hazards for Tuesday would look to be more so damaging winds and large hail. We're not too concerned right now for the tornadic risk. There's some potential for tornadoes. We're not going to probably see an outbreak of them. We're not talking like the huge magnitude, maybe 1 or 2, maybe a couple, 3, 4 in the region. So we're not looking at a widespread threat here. I think we're going to be on the lower end of the spectrum here if it develops at all. But damaging winds and large hail should be the primary concerns for Tuesday. Wednesday, however, would look to be more so of what we call like an all hazards type of threat, where any storm that can stay isolated or perhaps will have line segments here, those may produce more so in the way of tornado potential. But again, that is, it's throwing that out there 3 days, 4 days in advance here. We got to let the systems play out. But Wednesday could be a day that kind of bumps that tornadic risk up just slightly to be more so concerned for it. So we're watching Wednesday, but we respect the fact that a lot can change here. Nothing's set in stone. So with that being said, the main hazard still for Wednesday should be that large hail damaging winds, but just keep that in mind as we move into tomorrow, but especially if we get closer to Wednesday here in the day 2 time frame. With that being said, though, that's all I got to share with you guys. It's a little bit of a confusing forecast, but if you guys have questions, let me know. Evansville would be in the heart of these risks for both days, potentially. But again, it's all going to be conditional on how everything comes together. There's a cat on my deck. I'm trying to catch a bird. That was interesting. But yeah, it's going to be conditional on how it all plays together for Tuesday and Wednesday here. So you are in a risk if you're in the yellow areas or yellow and dark green areas for this map. But keep in mind that there's potential for this to go either way, either severe or not much at all. Which lake, Melissa? There's really no way of telling that, Devin. Wednesday confidence is even lower than Tuesday, so to say it could get upgraded, sure, maybe it could, but we're not going to have specifics, and we're not going to know that until we get, at least until tomorrow, or at least until tonight, but more than likely tomorrow afternoon we'll have a better feel for things. Not really, Melissa. I think the highest risk for you would be more so off to your south and west. You are technically in the risk here for Tuesday. Um, but it's highest off to your south and west. The lakes there doesn't really affect much in the way of severe weather, at least for this setup. It won't. What's up, Alan? Just saw your comment there. What's up, Melissa, Mary Beth, Caleb? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my mic here, guys. I'm trying to get this thing to work, but for some reason, sometimes this goes static on me. I don't know if it's a connection issue or what's going on with it, but apologize about that. Working at Cedar Point that day, I was curious. Hey, I want your job. No, you have a shot there for some severe weather for sure. It's probably going to come later in the evening, maybe after closing time potentially. So you should be good after that morning rain clears out. Um, I don't think it'd be too crazy there, at least not what I'm seeing right now. But the potential is there. Possibly, Dennis, possibly. But we do have that risk here in place for basically the entire state here of Ohio on Tuesday. Just barely clipping out up there by um, what county is that? I should know what county that is, but I don't. It's just north of Trumbull County, whatever the county that is up there. That's the only place not in the risk in Ohio. Excuse me. Yeah, Nita, it was my old microphone I tried to use at the start here. I switched to my headphones, though. My headphones are more reliable, but I don't like the sound quality of them. So, why is Western Michigan more likely to get severe weather than Eastern? Do the lakes help stabilize the atmosphere when the storms come through? I feel like Southeastern Michigan has done really well missing the bad stuff. This year it has. This year it has. The overall concern, and usually how these systems play out sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, is instability is highest off in the south and west part of the state when the storms first enter off Lake Michigan. And as they push eastward into eastern Michigan, sometimes we'll have lingering instability. It's not as strong there. But I can also tell you there's plenty of times that eastern Michigan's been hit pretty hard, and western Michigan's has been left out pretty well. Last year, for example, we had a lot of people complaining on our pages about how West Michigan never got severe weather. It was always East Michigan. So it kind of balances out. But sometimes we'll have those events where West Michigan has a much higher uh, atmospheric threshold, I guess, for severe weather, if you want to call it that. Yes, Jeannie, it is. All right. Any more questions, guys, before I hop off here? So let's go ahead and recap everything for you. For those of you who are just joining us, we do have a couple severe risks starting with today. We have one here in East Central Ohio. Damaging winds is our only threat today. Not everyone is going to see a storm. Not every storm is going to be severe, but there's potential here that we could get some damaging winds in Eastern Central Ohio today. Okay, that's your only threat. No tornadoes, no hail expected. Secondary threat, more so a significant threat, comes in Tuesday. Uncertainty exists. We do have potential here For morning rain that we're looking at here in the models, if that morning rain pushes through, it could do two things. It could, one, enhance cloud cover, and two, it could take instability and take it out of the atmosphere completely, lowering our severe threat. Either one of those happening will lower the severe threat. Just don't know yet how much it's going to lower, if it will lower at all. We're going to have to wait till Tuesday morning to get a feel for exactly what's going to happen here. But two things could happen that could turn the atmosphere over, severe risk goes down, or it may not affect much at all. Severe risk comes up. We're going to assume that potential is there for a severe risk. And if that does happen, looking at mainly a large hail, damaging wind threat with a low tornado risk across the risk area, which is right here. Highest risk there in yellow across most of Indiana, parts of southeastern Illinois, and then most of central and western Ohio there. Okay, that's your highest risk for Tuesday. And the lower risk around it from East Ohio, South Michigan, and most all of Illinois there if you're not in that yellow portion. And then also a third severe risk here, potentially for Wednesday, but confidence in this one is low. I do think the ceiling, so to speak, for Wednesday is a little bit higher than Tuesday, but we'll have to have some dominoes fall correctly to get a severe risk to occur here on Wednesday, because how each day works out will affect the next. So confidence is low in this entire thing, but potential is there. Potential is just that. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means there's potential for it to happen. All right. With that being said, I am going to hop off here. I see one more question here from Anna. Could go back to yellow. I'm assuming you're asking for South Michigan. Right now, I don't see the instability access reaching up into Michigan. So it does, but the bigger instability axis is further south. I can show you guys real quickly what I'm talking about here. So instability is something that we look for severe weather because it fuels the storms. The highest is going to be, well, actually, the latest model here actually does creep it back up here into Michigan. So I'm going to say it's possible, but I think the majority of it's going to stay to the south there. I don't think it'll get extended north here, but if we get more consistency between models, potentially. So this is what it looked like. This is what it looks like on the ensemble. The blue here is a lower probability, which is why you see that risk to the south of Michigan. It's a possibility, Anna, but I don't think it's a high possibility yet. All right, I'm going to hop off here, guys. I'll be on here again tomorrow morning for an update. And if anything gets too out of hand today in Ohio, we may go live over on the Ohio page. Don't expect that to happen, though. But again, that risk is still in place for damaging winds today if you live in that dark green shaded area. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. You guys enjoy your day. Stay dry out there.